YouTube was good. It's your boy, Boss Harris, aka the Crazy Artist. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead and hit the doggone subscribe button. Hit notification bell every time I post some new content. I did this one last week, but I actually got a call and it lasted longer than what it thought that it would. And I actually really couldn't come back and finish up the job. Um, so I'm actually really do this today. Um, my co-host, if you will, he's not going to actually really be a part of this one. Other things came up, but he did say that he would chime in from time to time, considering how long that I'm going to actually really talk about this subject. So, with that being said, right, you know, it's news now, it's been news, and if this is your first time hearing it, then I can actually really say, well, good for you, because the thing about it though, the old crazy uncle gonna actually really gonna tell y'all that people, um, people that haven't went to college, right, are gonna be paying for somebody else's bill. But then again, when you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, right, that's all what the fuck taxpayers been doing forever and a day. I mean, because where the fuck you think that the Pell, we put like this, when you go get a Pell grant to go to college, where the fuck you think that money comes from, right? Pell grant, financial aid, or whatever. Where the fuck you think that money comes from? So, for the most part, it's not like it ain't. This is something that this ain't nothing new, people. It ain't nothing new, right? But my whole thing is that education, right? If you actually stop and think about it for a minute, is the most fucked up system there is, right? Because for one, it teaches separation, and in other time I would say that I would say that it would teach racism, the the whole thing is when you look at the word racism, right? And I forget, it was one of these Muslim brothers. He actually really broke that. He actually really broke the word racism down, right? And so basically, what he was saying, you got your prefix and your suffix, right? And then so the ISM is what you practice. Just like saying, for example, if you want to be a journalist, you're gonna practice journalism. So once you practice it, once you have mastered it, then you become a journalist. Now, the same thing with being a racist, right? The IST or the ISM is what the fuck you practice. The IST means that you have mastered it. But I'm gonna tell you something. You so-called racist motherfuckers out there, you ain't mastered shit, because first and foremost, right? You you you're coming around here talking about black man this, black woman that, African American this, African American that, knowing damn well that just because, first of all, ain't none of us black, right? And Africa is a goddamn continent, not a country. But along with the educational system, right? Along with just society itself, right? You done took a continent that has many countries and just be like, okay, well, they came from one of them. They just say, okay, well, you come from Africa, so that makes you an African American. That's bullshit. Okay, but then again, so this is where the separation comes in at, right? Because when you look kids, it don't matter. But the first time you carry your ass to school, And the first time that you go look in the history books or his story, but the thing about it though, and I know it may seem like that I'm jumping all over the place, but when you actually really look at history, and for you so-called woke motherfuckers, you'll say, well, it ain't history, it's his story. But here's the deal. Last time I checked, put like this, when you finna rob a motherfucker, right? Then put like this. Yeah, you may have a whole bunch of men with you, right? But just know that there's gonna be some women involved in that shit too, right? So I actually really came up, instead of calling it history, let's call it theories or their stories, and then we wonder why shit is missing. Because, just like I said, you know, it ain't always the man that's doing the fucked up plan. The woman is involved with a lot of it, right? So another case. So you're born, you come in the world, right? You know, and for the most part, you really don't know a whole lot. The only thing that you, as a child, right? The only thing what you're gonna learn is what the fuck your parents teach you, right? And it's hopefully that they're the actual type of parents, right, that will tell you, hey, look, you love everybody, regardless of so-called color.
Healthy, low risk for anything, man.
Okay.
We can find out the sex today.
Okay. I already told you what it is. You know.
We're gonna take her to pick up the results.
Okay.
Today.
Okay. So another case, right? You know, my whole deal is, okay, with the regular system, K through 12, or now pre-K through 12, right? That's taxpayers' money, right? That you ain't got to go borrow shit. You know, if you work, whatever, they gonna take this shit out your paycheck. And then if you're lucky enough, then you'll go 13 years, anywhere from 12 to 13 years, right? Through the school system, whether it's public or private, right? And then we learn what the fuck these motherfuckers done put in books, right? And if you get to a level, you practice it, you master it, then you go on to the next level, right? It's like a motherfucking video game almost, right? So again, right? You done passed all the levels. You might have to repeat a level, right? But in other cases, you done completed all these goddamn levels, right? Then they give you a little piece of paper, right, with your name on it, and it says high school diploma and whatever city you graduated from in whatever state. And so for the most part, you could have been good. You could have went out, got your job, or whatever, and got your job, get your house, car, family, the whole nine. Everything was kosher. At least it should have been, right? But here's where did I say that education is fucked up, right? Because you gotta look at it like this. Money, right? Money is also in this, right? Because if you go back and look at what happened on August 15th, 1971, very important date, right? August 15th, 1971. You don't want to believe me? Hey, go Google it. Go back and look what President Nixon did, right? And so from 1971 up until now, right? Money ain't been worth a damn, right? But then again, here's where the education comes in. These motherfuckers will tell you that money is actually really worth something, right? Hey, guess what? You go to school, you learn you do your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s, and then they're gonna teach you how to add, subtract, and multiply and divide, right? Teach you a little bit of English, and if you're real good, you might learn some other language, right? And like I said, then you go, you get your little piece of paper, and then you want to go to college, but you ain't got no motherfucking money. So you go. So what y'all gonna do? Y'all go get a goddamn student loan, knowing damn well y'all ain't gonna pay that shit back, right? And then you go get a degree. I'm gonna say this again. You go get a degree in whatever subject that it is that you try to learn, right? Not knowing that your ass is 359 degrees short. But it's just like, but then again, it's just like what I said, right? You go to college because this is what the fuck these motherfuckers tell you, right? Same thing with just going to regular school. Whether it's doggone public or private, guess what? You still being taught the same fucked up shit, right? So you go get that piece of paper, then you go get a job, and then you wonder why you can't go get a job. And I'm gonna tell you something. It ain't always about color. It ain't always about color people, right? Because the first time that they see the paper say, "Oh, well, you didn't get the job," because the first time motherfucker be like, "Well, I didn't get the job because I'm black." Really, motherfucker? You are not black. What's good? So, so the whole deal is, right? Just think about this. Let's actually really think about this. I'm just talking about K through 12. I ain't even got to the college part yet, right? So you go to school, you graduate, and then you wonder why you can't get no job. And the thing about it is this: if these motherfuckers, the powers that be, or the powers that shouldn't be, that I call like I like to call them, right? They don't want to put this shit together, right? Just to see how dumb you really are, right? Because they know that this shit is fucked up, right? And so guess what? I wouldn't give your motherfucking ass a job neither, right? Because you went and agreed on every goddamn thing that I told you as far as like education goes. So now, let's take it up a notch. Let's take it to college. It's the same shit, people. Now put like this. Now, if you got parents that got that money, or what the fuck you think is money, right? Then you go to the college of your choice or their choice because you're using their monopoly money. It's CUR. Well, you call me Curtis Harris, but it's CURTIS. So the whole deal is, right? You go to a college of your parents' choosing, right? Then they go get them their little monopoly money, right? And it's the same shit. You go pick what you pick your major, you pick your minor, whatever, and then off to school you go, right? So you do your 4 years or whatever, then you get your little college degree. Just like what I said earlier, it's a goddamn degree because you're 359 degrees short of what the subject really is. And then you think that you're ready. You're ready to go out to the world. Guess what? You can't get no damn job neither. So here it is. You got your high school diploma. Now you got your college degree. You still ain't got no goddamn job. After your parents didn't pay for that money, right? Or you done went out and got a goddamn student loan, some shit that you know that you ain't gonna pay back, right? And so at the end result, you ain't got no job. It's almost like what comedian Whoopi Goldberg said in her very first HBO comedy special, because she was playing the role of different people. So one of the roles, she was a junkie, right? So she was in the library. She said, yeah, I go to the library because I'm in the books. I got a PhD in literature from Columbia. So the people laughed, right? And so she looked at the crowd and said, well, I hope you don't think that I was born a junkie. And said, no, I got a PhD that I can't do shit with. So I stay high so I don't get mad. Right? Because the fact of the matter is this, right? The same shit that's gonna get done to you, or already has been done to you, from grades K through 12, and then if you did a little bit of college, and you still ain't got no job, now you got a student loan that you got to pay for. So you see how this shit is going? But then again, I look at it like this, people. August 15th, 1971. Because I'm almost willing to bet money that they didn't know that was that President Nixon actually did that shit. I mean, so it is what it is. And then so like I say, so they went away with the Gold Standard Act. Then they went to the petrodollar. And then y'all wonder why 20 years later, 1991, what happened? We went to war. And we went to war with who? Right? Saddam Hussein fucking with the people over in Kuwait over oil. Right? And then let's jump 30 years. What the fuck is going on now with Russia or the Soviet Union, or whatever the fuck they call themselves, right? They fight with the Ukraine over the same shit that happened 30 years prior. You know, because if they motherfuckers they'll sit up here and holler about, well, it ain't about oil, then what the fuck is it then? You done took away the goddamn Gold Standard Act. Now you gonna put all your money behind some oil, right? And then, yeah, you got your own shit, but you gonna fuck with everybody else's stuff, right? So again, and then who's to say what is valuable and what isn't? Education, people, is a fucked up system. And then here come President Biden thinking that he done did something. Right? And a lot of motherfuckers don't know this motherfucker been in office for as many years I've been born. And then who's to say that he wasn't a part of that deal when Nixon was in office? So yeah, so my whole deal is so of course everybody that has went to college and like I said, you went and you got that student loan or whatever, and again, I just look at some fact like, okay, well, whatever happened to the Pell Grants and whatever happened to the motherfucking financial aid. Because like I said, that one year college that I did do, I went in on the Pell Grant. I didn't have to pay shit back. Right? So, but like I said, it's almost like, okay, well, they did away with the Pell Grant. It's almost like, okay, well, no, we don't want you to have this. We want you to borrow this money. I mean, because the thing about it, though, the more money that's out there, the more that you owe, the more valuable it is. Just like I said, these motherfuckers, you put like this. As soon as every dollar that you get, right, is already behind the power curve, right? And then again, you gotta look at this too, right? If this country is so, as they say, we billions and billions of dollars in debt. So now the next question is, okay, where the fuck this money come from? Or who we owe this money to, right? And then like I say, I'm gonna keep saying it. August 15, 1971. And even beforehand, right? I get it. Listen, just because something looks pretty, right? That don't mean that it's motherfucking valuable. I mean, and then you got to be like, okay, well, you gonna give me this. I'm gonna give you this, and then you gonna give me this, right? Because the motherfucker down the street ain't gonna take this, right? Well, then go find you another motherfucker, or go grow it yourself. So, so like I said, know what the fuck is going on. Know how these people do shit, and why they do shit the way that they do. Because they feel like, okay, for as long as you don't know what the fuck is going on, right? They still gonna teach the same bullshit in the educational system, which is gonna cause separation, right? It's gonna cause you look at the one friend that you've been knowing, both of y'all been knowing each other since y'all was in diapers, right? And then once the one time that you go to school and you read what they got in the history books, then you gonna turn and 9 times out of 10 you probably gonna look at your friend sideways. And then and for the most part, you can't sit up, and then this is where look, you can't fault me for what my ancestors did, right? But then again, once you actually stop and think about it for a minute, the way that they got it in the history book, right, is that for one, we all got captured. Which I think is bullshit. Then they put everybody in the boat, and then you went from Africa to the United States, and I'm pretty sure that was well over a 98-day plus ride. People stacked on top of each other, pissing and shitting everywhere. So, and then shit gets airborne. So, the chances of anybody surviving that boat ride is next to none. But this is what the fuck they tell you in the history books, right? And it's coming out of taxpayers' money. Then they want to sit up here and call you African American when Africa is a continent, not a goddamn country, right? But this is education for you. Bullshit education. Then, like I said, then they be like, oh, well, you got to go to college, right? You go to college, go get your little bullshit degree, right? And then, like I say, if you ain't got no money, which if you ask me to stop and think about it for a minute, ain't nobody got no goddamn money. Nobody. Why the fuck you think they putting that? Why you think they hurrying up and putting that shit where they give you a little bullshit card with 16 numbers on it, and everything is digital now. Again, that should tell you something. Because they do that to keep a paper trail on your ass. Right? So again, it's another fucked up way to keep people in debt. But then again, it's like, okay, is there really the question that you should be asking is that is there really an actual true debt out there as far as like money goes? Now, like I said, the motherfuckers that's actually really running it, they'll tell you, yeah. Because it's just for the simple fact they probably haven't figured out a way to be like, well, damn, we got to play the game just like they do. But then again, well, it in all actuality, yeah, they getting all of this stuff. But it's like, okay, well, that really, it's really not how the song goes. So that's my whole spiel on it, right? Yeah, these motherfuckers, and guess what? Come election time, then this is what the fuck he gonna bring to the table, right? And then I'm just like, and so another thing too, and so here's something else, people, that you might want to actually really scratch your head over. Now, going back as early, for like this, let's go back 22 years, right? So when Bush was still in office, and they had to come up with their stimulus package, right? They were like, hey, look, we ain't got no money. So they had to let them tell it was emergency funds, right? So I'm just like, okay, well, if it's debt that we owe, use the emergency funds, right? And so motherfuckers been using emergency, put like this, you've been using emergency funds for the past 20 plus years. But let these motherfuckers tell all we broke. Right? Again, that should tell you something. Out of all of the, put like this, out of all of the people that work in this country, and you get taxed for it, which again, that's unconstitutional. So you get the top 1% vote. No Uncle Sam kicking their ass, right? And so then everybody else that's not in the 1%, they ain't got to get, great fact, they ain't got to come off as much as the 1%ers, but they still got to come off of a pretty good piece of money, right? So again, motherfuckers all about, oh, we in debt, we ain't got no money. Really? Fuck games as usual. And like I said, you gotta stop and think, right? Motherfuckers, we've been getting beat. And when I say we, I'm talking about everybody, right? We've been getting beat since day one, right? But then again, me, little old me, this what I'm talking about ain't gonna get out, right? And if it do get out, it's only gonna be a small fraction of people that's actually really gonna look at this and be like, oh yeah, and then that then that be the end of it, right? But for those of us that are actually like really trying to put the goddamn word out there, y'all motherfucker might want to stop and listen, take shit in consideration, right? That we maybe, just maybe, know what the fuck we talking about. right? Do like what the water boy's mama did to him. Homeschool your children, right? Live off the motherfucking land, right? You get hurt, use home remedies. Keep your ass out of the goddamn hospital. Leave the motherfucking public school system alone. Don't send your kids to college, right? And you should be fine. Plain and simple, people. So, but y'all want to still come over that motherfucking money that hey, or bullshit money, because that's all what the fuck it is, right? Then hey, by all means. So with that being said, hey, guess what? Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell the dad, tell the birthday, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door across the street around the corner. Paul's Harris, aka the Crazy Uncle. Till next time.